Thank you everyone for joining. Good morning or afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from. Today we're going to partner with EcoprintQ and talk a little bit about PaperCut MF. Most of you probably know PrinterWorks West already, but if you don't, we are a print and document management specialists. Nowadays, print management isn't the way it used to be before. It's not just hardware. A lot of it is software. So that is why we have partnered with EcoprintQ and PaperCut, and we're going to show you a little bit about that today. You might know me, you might not. My name is Chad Gilmet. I'm the sales manager here at PrinterWorks West, and we've got Lesley Mertens from EcoprintQ. And on that note, Lesley, I'll hand it off to you.
Fantastic. Well, welcome everybody. We really appreciate you taking time on your Monday and your Valentine's Day to spend some time learning about PaperCut. So I work for a company called EcoprintQ. And for those of you who don't know who we are, outside of being partners with PrinterWorks West, we are a certified authorized solution center for PaperCut. So that's a pretty fancy word for like a distributor. The office is actually in Miami Lakes, Florida, where I really wish I was today because it's minus 31 here in Toronto, where I live. And we're a company that works with partners across North and South America, obviously including Canada as well. And we work very closely with resellers to sell the PaperCut print management solution that we're going to talk about today. And for those of you who don't know, I know there's a couple of people on this call have heard the words PaperCut, but they have no idea who is PaperCut, what does it do, and how is it going to benefit you. So that is our goal today, is to kind of give you a high-level overview of what the solution is and its benefits. As a company, PaperCut is actually headquartered in Australia. They do have offices in North America and Europe and Asia as well. And currently they've their distribution models, they only sell through resellers and partners. So PaperCut cannot be purchased directly. It can't even be bought from EcoprintQ. It has to be bought through resellers like PrinterWorks West. As an organization, what I really, really love about PaperCut is they are incredibly customer service focused. So PaperCut is all about relationships. It's all about serving their resellers, serving their authorized solution centers. And really, it was designed as, founded actually by two brothers way back when that were looking at, they were in the university world and they were trying to figure out how to stop paper waste. So at the time, there were bins that were overflowing and they're like, there has to be a solution to this. Why is this happening? And fast forward 20 plus years later, PaperCut has grown exponentially. And there's over 115 million users, if that's probably growing rapidly even as we speak. But it does definitely have a presence globally and in many, many different organizations. So we're going to talk today about PaperCut MF. A couple of people have already reached out saying, hey, is this presentation about Hive, which is another PaperCut solution? And the answer is no. Today's presentation is about PaperCut MF, which is the flagship solution. And this has been around, as I sort of said earlier, evolving for over 20 years, but a phenomenal print management solution. And before we get started or kind of get too knee deep, as questions might come up on a couple of the slides, Chad is also going to be managing the chat as well. And so if questions do come up, you can put them there, but we will leave lots of time at the end of the presentation to ask questions as well.
Lesley.
And Chad, yes, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt.
No
I
problem.
cannot see chats coming in from guests. I can only see the chats between you and me. So unfortunately, I will not be able to see the chats. Lesley will have to kind of watch that as she's going through her presentation. But if we do miss you and you have a question, feel free to wait till the end in the question period. Another thing I forgot to mention is there is a chance to win a $100 Visa gift card if you stick it out till the end. And PrinterWorks West is going to also offer 10% off of any PaperCut purchases if you reach out to us after this webinar this week.
Oh, that's fantastic. Excellent. Well, thanks, Chad.
Yeah,
and I will keep I'll definitely keep my eyes on the chat as well if anybody has any questions they want to post in there.
Thanks,
Yeah, no worries. So a little bit more about PaperCut. For those of you who may be a word you've heard of or a little bit newer to you, it's 100% not a new solution. There's over 70,000, I think it's actually 82,000 customers using PaperCut. We're in over 202 countries. It's translated into 30 languages. So that's excellent, especially being here in Canada where we are a multilingual country. Over 115 million users, 7 million printers, 995,000 MFDs and growing, and over 5 million Chromebooks, all utilizing the PaperCut MF solution. So it's a beautiful solution for every industry that you could possibly think of. It does have a huge success rate in education. So a lot of people who do know of PaperCut know of it from the education world. We're definitely in the federal government in Canada, all of the municipal governments across all the different provinces, huge presence in healthcare, the pharmaceutical industry, hospitality, legal, engineering, construction. You kind of get where I'm going with this, but we're definitely in even huge uptake in architectural firms. And even last week, we did a big deal with the farming industry as well. So there's no one specific industry where PaperCut fits. It really is dynamic and can work anywhere in any type of environment. So with that said, if you're a company that has 2 employees, or you have 4,000 employees, or you have 25,000, PaperCut is a very scalable solution. So you can go from one single function or device to a multifunction to organizations that have 2,000 or 3,000 or more. And that's really nice because as your company grows, PaperCut will grow with you as well. So it's really scalable, works on pretty much every manufacturer. So if you are an organization that has like a mixed fleet, not a problem. It works on everything. So a little bit, PaperCut MF is really, you've already invested in some pretty nice hardware, right? You've got some multifunction devices, some printers. And what PaperCut does is it actually enables you to use those devices and track what's happening within your environment. So again, this is sort of a screenshot here of what the administrative console looks like. So if you're an IT director and you're responsible for managing print within your organization, there is these really cool views and dashboards that give you a high-level overview of what's happening. But the idea is to have 100% visibility and being able to make people accountable for printing, but also knowing what's going on within your environment. So, why PaperCut? It's a phenomenal user experience. That's first and foremost. It's really easy to set up. PrinterWorks West has done tons and tons of implementations. So they're there to hold your hand through the initial setup and provide training. Tons of features that you can enable and disable, again, depending on your organization. Once it's sort of set up, it's kind of set it and forget it. You get to use it every day. It is a very, very easy implementation. So although it does a lot of really phenomenal things, it doesn't take days and days to set up. And it's vendor agnostic, as I mentioned earlier. So again, depending on what you're using within your environment, you are 100% able to put PaperCut on any type of device and any type of printer, any type of scanner that you have. So people hear the words print management, and Chad kind of started the presentation saying print management has changed, and has it ever? So print management can mean different things to different people. From a PaperCut perspective, it means things like how do we allow people with mobile devices to print? Or are you an organization that allows your employees to bring in their own devices? How do you support integrated scanning? Can you enable something called Find Me printing that allows you to hit File Print at your desk, but go to any printer within any of the floors of your office and release your print job. So what we're going to talk about today is why it's sort of an all-in-one solution for any type of environment, big or small. So easy printing. Those are my 2 favorite words. We talk about that pretty much daily at EcoprintQ. And why is PaperCut easy? That's always a question we get asked. They're like, oh, that's just a marketing thing. Is it really true? And the answer is absolutely yes. So I showed you a screenshot earlier about the web interface. So you are able to log in as an administrator and manage the PaperCut MF system within your environment. You are able to make changes on the fly that are reflective in real time. And one of the things, the biggest challenges we're seeing is, guest printing environments, right? Whether you're in a library and you've got some patrons coming in and they're doing some research and they need a really simple and easy way to print. We've got that all covered within one software platform. So even nowadays in these hybrid working worlds, right, that we're all experiencing, even being able to sit at your home computer, right, at your desk and hit file print and go to a different location and release your print job or pick that up, all of those little things that are in our day-to-day that have to do with anything with printing are all can be managed with the PaperCut MF platform. So let's talk a little bit about mobile devices. So mobile devicing, everybody knows, if you have an iPhone, you have an Android, there's some different ways of printing. With PaperCut, there's a module called Mobility Print. And Mobility Print is a really simple, easy, and even free component of PaperCut MF that allows people to print across multiple platforms. So again, if you are an Apple user, your Android, or depending on your operating system on your computer, when you enable Mobility Print, it's as simple as file print and release your print job to a printer on the network. Or you can even do off-printer off-network printing as well. We did hear a lot about a year ago about Google Clouds printing, the native printing ending, and Google actually partnered with PaperCut and recommended Mobility Print as the premium alternative when they sort of decided, hey, you can't just print natively. So Mobility Print is deployed all over the world. It's fast and easy to set up. You can be up and running in as quickly as 10 to 15 minutes. It's compatible with every printer, and it's 100% free. So if you are interested in learning more about that, Chad and the amazing team at PrinterWorks West can definitely help you with the mobility print conversation. So let's talk a little bit about how, if I put in PaperCut MF in my organization, how do I import users? So how do I bring employees and people and members of my team into PaperCut? So PaperCut will synchronize with a whole bunch of different sources. So whether your company is using Azure or Google or Windows Active Directory, LDAP, it's really simple to bring in all of those employees. And again, if there's something that's not necessarily listed out, chances are it's a very easy to adapt solution. We can bring in the users that way as well. So just wanted to point that part is very, very simple. And that would sort of be, again, done either on your own or with the help of the PrinterWorks West team. Print queues. So if any of you are on the call and you're like, oh, I hate those words, how do I manage print queues and how do it can kind of be a little bit tedious depending on your organization. There is a module within PaperCut MF called Print Deploy, and Print Deploy is really designed around getting the right print queue to the right person to the right time, at the right time. So it's a feature and a module that is very simple and easy to configure, but designed for organizations that have employees in multiple locations. And so it's a phenomenal feature that has definitely gained a lot of traction within the platform itself and very easily configurable as well. So if this is a pain point, you're definitely going to want to reach out to Chad and the team to learn a little bit more about Print Deploy. And so the other thing too, we talked earlier about Find Me printing. So traditionally, we're all used to, right, file print. That's part of our day-to-day. And we get up and we go to a printer. With PaperCut, you can enable something called Find Me printing. And it's one print queue, but you can go to any printer, kind of like in the picture here, within your environment. It could be the first floor, the second floor, and the print job follows you to that printer. So when you get to the printer, you can authenticate yourself, and you can either do that through a badge swipe. You could be, my name is Joe Smith, and my passcode's 1234, and you can release your print job. So there's a security component to that as well, but also a really large convenience component too. So we talked earlier, people always say, you say it runs on everything, but does it really work on everything? And the answer is yes. There's always a few exceptions, but it is designed for organizations that do have multiple fleets, or it could be an all Canon environment, an all HP environment. And when it comes to operating systems, so PaperCut MF does reside on a server, but it is supported by multiple different types of operating systems as well. So whatever you're using within your organization, PaperCut MF will work. So a little bit about security, right? We've heard, I think COVID has taught everybody that there's definitely a lot going on. Everybody's really worried about security. And where does PaperCut MF fit into that? So one of the biggest things and sort of components of PaperCut that a lot of people like is that it does offer something called secure print release. And what that means is being able to walk up to a device, authenticate yourself in whichever manner you choose, and release your print job. So gone are the days of, okay, I'm going to print this report for my boss. And then someone says, hey, Joe, how was your weekend? Oh, I heard you went skiing. And next thing you know, there's a whole bunch of other employees' print jobs layered on top of yours. And God forbid you printed something confidential, your colleague accidentally picked it up. Those things go away when you have PaperCut MF in place. And when you put in the ability to have secure printing release. There's lots of options. People always say, can I release with my phone? The answer is yes. Can I release with my badge? Yes. Tons of different ways of authenticating that meet your overall objectives within your organization. So again, we just talked about secure authentication. There's a really nice image that I like here. This would be the embedded application right on your copier. So I could log in with my username and password, and it will bring up a list of my print jobs that are held securely in the queue. I'm also able to tap my badge, again, depending on what your organization. All of these different options are available to you. And it just gives you that peace of mind that when people are printing, they are doing it in a very secure manner. So again, I love this kind of imagery here, but really I've been hearing this a lot from a lot of end users across every industry. Last week we worked with the federal government in Ottawa and literally heard the words, we need a better way of protecting our data. So again, PaperCut MF comes into play and is usually the go-to software solution because of the different types of compliances we have, but the different options for secure print release as well. So there is visibility into seeing what people have printed. We do have the ability to turn on print archiving if that is a requirement for the organization. And just knowing that they will always have access to that data, that it doesn't go away, but it is stored securely, and an administrator can see what's going on within the organization as well. A lot of companies always want to say, well, we don't want to be Big Brother and see what people are doing. And with PaperCut, there are 85 different types of reports. You can report by user, you can report by printer, by group, etc. Having visibility into, if an employee is printing 400 pages or they're printing 2 or someone's printing 10,000, that's what we mean about having visibility into your printing environment. So administrators can see what users are doing. They can see if they, if people are complaining, oh, there's not enough printers in my organization and we really need to get more. Again, having visibility into the reporting and what's happening can help drive decisions on purchasing new hardware if necessary as well. We'll talk a little bit more about reporting too, because I know a lot of people get really excited about that. So people always ask, is the data encrypted while it's in transit? And the answer is absolutely yes. All the print jobs are encrypted while waiting to be released at the multifunction device in some of those ways that we talked about a little bit earlier. We talked earlier too about just keeping records, right? Having access to administration, or sorry, not administration, for administrators to have access to what's happening within their environment. And that's really simple and easy to do. And that's something that a lot of administrators like, that they can get access quickly if they need to as well. And in this little example, we've logged into the job log portion of the MF console, and we can kind of see a thumbnail of the image, who's printed it, if there was a cost per page. So all of the printing attributes are also listed here as well. And if it was a school environment or a library, and maybe we had to issue a refund, you can see it's pretty easy as click a button and we can send that right back to the user as well. A little bit about waste control, right? So we all live in an environment now where we're all very conscientious about the environment. A lot of companies have some very strict sustainability goals and objectives that they're trying to adhere to as well. So with PaperCut, you really are able to align with your company's objectives when it comes to environmental sustainability. There aren't going to be any of those uncollected print jobs that we talked about earlier, right? With those bins that are overflowing with people who have printed and have not picked up. We're able to put in some print policies into place that encourage people to print double-sided, single-sided in black and white versus color. And we're really with the common goal of keeping our planet as clean and environmentally sustainable as possible. And PaperCut does even take it to an extent where there's some pretty detailed reporting that help a company gauge what they're doing towards the environment, right, in terms of reducing waste and being sustainable too. So print policies, what is that exactly? So a print policy is something that an administrator can put in place and encourage organizations and employees to print double-sided versus single-sided. They can encourage grayscale versus color, because we all love to print in color, it looks prettier, but we can put policies in place as administrators to really help organizations kind of, again, adhere to their initial goals. So you can kind of see in the example on the screen, hey, this was flashing up, it's a print policy alert. Do you, and you can even create your own messaging as well. It says, do you really want to print in color? At this organization, we encourage grayscale or anything like that. You can also see that, hey, they can override that and say, I understand, but this job's important. I do want to do it in color. The other really cool thing that you can do is you can also assign a quota to a specific individual or a specific department, saying, hey, each month you get $150 to print, or whatever type of quota that you would like to put in place. You can change that quota at any time, but it's really designed for a lot of school boards use it, a lot of libraries, and lately we're even seeing more and more SMB type organizations putting in some print quotas, again, just to stay aligned with what the corporate policies and initiatives are. So we talked earlier, right? Lots about the environment. PaperCut is really, really passionate about being a very green organization. So their goal is to help companies be sustainable. And again, this is sort of a little snapshot of what came out of PaperCut MF for a company. So you can kind of see, how many trees, CO2 equivalent of light bulb hours. But the idea is to help organizations be more accountable, have security, and at the same time, really reduce the amount that people are printing. So again, you can kind of keep that in mind, but these are all reports that are available right within the MF platform at the single click of a button. There is another part of PaperCut MF, and I could probably talk all day, but I think Chad would get really mad at me if I did that because I'm pretty passionate about PaperCut. But there is another part of PaperCut called advanced scripting. And really what that allows a company to do is to define and fine tune your print and copy policies, really based on people's user behavior. So we have a couple of companies that have come into this section, right, within their PaperCut admin console and able to put in some different scripts that again are aligning with the company's overall objectives. So some people are really attracted to this feature of PaperCut MF because it does give them some flexibility. It's not all predefined that they can come in. They can also work with the PrinterWorks West team if they don't know how to do the scripting, or with EcoprintQ has their own department that specializes in scripting as well. So you don't have to enable this, but it's a feature that's available to you. Also wanted to talk about user department account selection. So you do have the ability that when you hit File Print, that you can assign the job to a specific account or a specific department. And this is really aligned with people who are doing some billing and invoicing, for specific projects. You can kind of think of our legal firms that utilize PaperCut, or an architectural firm. And it really makes it simple for them to pull reports and bill back to a specific department if needed at the end of the month. So there is, this is all built in, it's all configurable in PaperCut MF, and a feature that your company may or may not use, but it's here and pretty popular within PaperCut. You can even take it a step further. Some people will say, okay, well, can I start to get a little bit more granular and a little bit more precise with account selection? And the answer is definitely yes. You can absolutely do that. You can assign a different charge rate to a specific job. So all of that is built in. It's customizable and very, in the matter of minutes set up as well. And just wanted to talk, and I'm just doing a quick time check. It's 1:31. Just want to make sure we leave some time for questions too. One thing I also wanted to mention with MF, it is a solution that tracks copies, it tracks prints, and it does have something called like integrated scanning built into it. So for those organizations on the line that do a lot of scanning, this is a phenomenal solution because again, it will track who's scanning what documents and to where they're going. So with integrated scanning, you're able to scan to email, scan to cloud service, again, very easily within matters of minutes right at the multifunction device. This is just a really nice picture of kind of what that looks like. A lot of people say, oh, that sounds great, but how easy is it for my employees to do? And it's as simple as walking up to the device, touching the scan button, and following the prompts. Very simple, very easy, gives visibility into to administrators as to what type of scanning is happening within their own environment as well. In this example too, you can see it's a scan to email, scan to cloud. What we're trying to just let people know that when you set this up, it's not complicated for your end users, right? They are able to walk up, follow the instructions, and go about their day. And again, we can scan to an email or folder. We talked earlier about different cloud storage organization, or a lot of organizations now are encouraging, right? OneDrive, SharePoint, and just being able to easily send a document to the right place using PaperCut, another one of the many features that is built into the MF platform. And we'll just talk a little bit more about reporting. So PaperCut has spent a lot of time and energy and development on creating what they call one-click reports. So this is 50, I think we're actually up to 85, 90 reports now, where you can log into the PaperCut reporting tab, and you can start to have as much or as little access and detail as to what people are doing within your environment. So there are reports by users, by printers, by groups. We talked earlier about being able to print a shared list of accounts to do some back-end billing and invoicing. You can create what I love, scheduled reports. So reports can go out right on their own as well. So you could say, hey, I'm creating a distribution list every Friday at 4 o'clock. The following reports are going to go to this distribution list. And you also have the ability to take all the data that's stored in PaperCut and create your own custom reports as well. So this is a bit of a differentiator from other solutions in the marketplace, but it's definitely, they've spent quite a bit of time and energy and will continue to offer more and more standard reports, but always knowing in your back pocket you can customize them as well. Pretty self-explanatory, but reporting, what can it do for you? If any of you on the call today are administrators, you are able to, again, just to kind of recap, departmental cost allocation, we can bill back clients, really with all the common goal of reducing our printing footprint. This is kind of a sample here of a group printing report, and you can see that we're breaking down the copies, scanning, and faxing. so that, again, the administrator would have some visibility into the volumes that are being done within the organization. And lastly, Chad, I promise I'll stop talking soon because I know you told me you got to leave some time for questions, Lesley. There are some free components within PaperCut MF that the PrinterWorks West team can talk to you about. Mobility print is built in. There's something that's called PaperCut Views. You have the ability to create QR codes on documents for easy visibility, or someone takes their phone, we're all used to it through menus, and be able to watermark a document with a QR code as well. And then PaperCut does have a trials for organizations that are like, sounds pretty good, but I'm not really sure. You can talk to Chad and his team, and they can offer you a full complimentary trial of PaperCut MF, including this mobility print, for a trial period, just to make sure that it is in fact the best software for your organization. So with all that said, Chad, I think I did okay, because I know I've only got, another 10, 15 minutes here. I just wanted to leave some time for questions. I try to keep it very high. Like I said, I could talk PaperCut MF all day, but I don't think a lot of you would like me for that. So just wanted to open up the floor, Chad, to the team, just to the attendees to ask if they had any questions.
Thank you, Lesley. Yeah, that was excellent presentation. Like I said, I cannot see the chat, so just let me know if there's any questions and I'll address them right away.
Yeah, I'm just looking. I don't see anything yet, and I'm just trying to see if anybody has their hand up as well. And they people can also unmute at this stage too, Chad, so they can just unclick the mute button and they can ask questions as well.
Perfect.
Pretty quiet so far. I think everyone's thinking about Valentine's.
Well, I've got a question for everyone.
Sure.
If anyone is unable to accept a monetary prize, just let us know and we can actually remove you from the Visa gift card draw.
I'll take that if they, no, just kidding. It's pretty quiet in the chat. I keep looking here. I think everyone maybe is messaging you now, Chad, to ask about PaperCut MF, maybe a trial.
Well, if there's any questions after the fact, feel free to reach out to myself or to your account manager and we can help you out right away. Anybody that reaches out this week with questions and ends up going on to a trial or even a purchase, you will receive a 10% discount as well.
Fantastic. I guess we can give it a couple more minutes, but I'm just looking to see if there's anything else here. No, it's pretty quiet.
One thing I would like to add, Lesley, or a question, when you showed the thumbnail image of what people were printing, is that something that can be removed? So maybe certain administrators don't have access to see a thumbnail of what was printed?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Perfect.
It's something you can, and you can also, you don't have to enable that functionality at all, or you can assign different types of restrictions to different types of administrators too. So, yeah, great question.
And one thing I really liked internally, we use PaperCut in our office as well, is building a custom report. So we can have, 4 or 5 different administrators, and each administrator might have a specific report they want to see for their department. And that's something that I've done as well, is build a custom report for the sales team just to see if we're actually using the products that we offer.
Yeah, it's the reporting functionality of PaperCut in and amongst all of the other amazing features is really, really phenomenal. I know it's easy for me to say that, but as one thing that has really drawn a lot of users is the ease of reporting and visibility.
Yeah. Another thing I like is maybe I'm not on our PrinterWorks West network. I could be downtown and a document on my phone, I need to print it. I could submit it while I'm off network and go to the printer when I get back to the office and release it without having to turn my computer on, log into the network, print the document for a meeting, and then shut my computer down again. So that's another big benefit I find to PaperCut.
It's yeah, it's just the convenience alone, right? And the ease is huge.
Well, I know you and I can talk about this all day, but
we could.
Yeah. I really want to thank everyone for attending, and I really want to thank you, Lesley. You did a great job. If there's any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. And maybe, Lesley, you can throw that next slide up, and some people who don't have our contact information can grab that as well.
Absolutely.
And again, you don't have to reach out to me. You can reach out to your own account manager. You can call us directly at the main line. We're always here to help.
It doesn't look like there's any other questions. I was going to say you've got Chad's contact details and your account manager, and we, if anything comes up, absolutely reach out to PrinterWorks West and they can help as well. I guess, Chad, with that said, I will wish everybody a very happy Valentine's Day and thank everybody for taking time out of your busy days to join. Chad, I will get a copy of the recording over to you so that if anybody needs that, they'll have access. And I wish everybody an enjoyable rest of your day.